Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100% You, a podcast which is all about discovering who you're truly meant to be and becoming the best version of yourself. I'm your host, Bari, and I've been on the self-development journey for the past 14 years and spiritual journey for the past 10 to 12 years. This episode, we're going to talk about the 10 lessons that I learned during 2025. Which honestly was one of the hardest years I had in my entire life. But with that, it was also one of the most eye-opening years I ever experienced. And I learned so much during this year, and I feel like I'm a completely different person by the end of it. So I gathered all the lessons that I learned, and I hope you can find this episode very enjoyable and helpful for your life too. So let's start. Oh, and I forgot to say, but you probably hear I was sick the entire week, so my throat is still a little bit hurting, but the show must keep going on. So we're here, and I'm so happy to record this episode and be able to do it. So the first lesson of 2025 is it's okay to let other people down. And for me, it hit very hard because I'm the type of person who always try to make sure that everyone is happy, and I'm always the type of person who doing my best to make sure that everyone else receive what they want and to be there for everyone else. But this year I had one of the most challenging years of my life, and I realized at some point that I cannot be there for people, not because I don't want to, but because I literally can't. Mentally, physically, I just can't, because I'm barely holding myself, and I can't be there for other people if I can't hold myself. And I feel that many of my friends went through a very hard time this year. And it was very difficult for me to tell some of my friends that I love them so much. And I know they really needed me this year, to tell them, listen, I'm sorry, but I can't be there right now. I can't. And if you really want to be there for me, I need you to understand this, because I can't hold more now. I need to focus on myself. And I had one incredible conversation with my friend this summer. She was going through a very difficult time, and I felt like she don't understand how hard the situation I'm going through. And I had with her a few conversations until there was one big conversation. I just told her, listen, I love you. I really want to be there for you, but I can't. It's also hard for me to receive messages on WhatsApp that you're sending me that you're going through difficult times, because it's not that I don't respect the things you're going through, but I feel like the type of things I'm going through right now is so big that reading your stuff is like, I wish I had those problems, and I barely can hold my problems. So helping you now going through those problems, for me, it's too much to hold. And it was one of the hardest conversations I had this year with a friend, and it turned out to be one of the most bonding conversation we had, because she really understood me, and we had many more conversations to understand how we can help each other. But I realized that eventually you need to choose where to put your energy, and sometimes you cannot be there for others, and that's okay. And part of it also, I want to say, is to not go extra mile for people who will not do it for you. So let's say I'm the type of person who always try to be there for everyone. But if I'm going now through a very, very, very difficult time, and I know that to do something for a friend, that means to go way beyond of what I can hold right now and do. If I know that that friend would do that for me and would be there for me, even though like it will be way beyond what she can hold right now, I would do the same for her. 100%. Like, there's no question about it. But if I know that type of friend would not go like beyond what she can handle at the situation for me, I would not do it for her. And that also kind of help you to question these friendships and understand who are the real friends for you. Because if your real friends understand that you're going through something, they will let you go through it however you would like to do it. And this leads me to the next thing. So the second lesson is communicate what you need. And I feel like it's such an obvious one, but at the same time, for me at least, it was very hard to actually implement it into my life. And usually when I looked at communication, for me, communication was only for romantic relationships. I never actually put focus until like 2 years ago of communicating what I need inside friendships. And this year, I feel like it was a really, really big lesson for me, because, as I said, I was going through a lot of stuff this year. And in order to make sure that my friends understand that I will not be there fully as they know that I'm usually am, I needed to communicate that I'm going through something, and the best thing that will help me right now is just to distract myself from everyone else. And it's not that I don't want to go out, it's not that I don't want to see my friends, it's just this is how I handle the situation. And for some of my friends it was hard, and I needed to repeat it again and again and again, which was very frustrating sometimes, because people who actually love you want the best for you, and sometimes the best that they wish for you is what they think the best for them. And it's important to communicate and have this conversation of, I understand you're doing the best for me, but this is not the best for me. The best for me is right now to understand that I need time, I need space, I need this. It's not that I don't love you. And usually when you have tough conversation with friends and communicate in what you need, they will much more appreciate it, because otherwise you will just ignore them or go on separate ways. And the best way to show the other person that you actually appreciate them and you actually love them is to communicate. Communicate what you need, what you want, what you fear, etc. Okay, so lesson number 3. Lesson number 3 is a bit different one, and it's something that I learned a few years ago, but I feel like this year I actually implemented very well in my life, and it helped me grow much faster. So, and you have to send it to anyone you think would need it, because it's such a life-changing mindset. The best way to heal from a breakup is to be fully grateful and appreciative of the relationship you had. If you had a shitty relationship, okay, I hope you're not the type of person who has shitty relationship, but let's say you had, still be grateful for what you have, because now you can grow and go for find something more accurate for you and more special, more relevant, or whatever. But eventually this is a part of your life that you invested. It can be a few months, a few weeks, a few years, it doesn't matter, but you invested your time into a relationship. And I just hate to see people when they break up, they gossip about the other person, they talk shit about them. I feel it's such a waste of your energy, because eventually you invested time in that person. It doesn't matter what was there inside this relationship. Was it good? Was it bad? It doesn't matter. But once you talk shit about what happened, like I know there's people, it helped them to find the worst thing in the person they dated, or to think about all the bad stuff was happening in the relationship. And yes, I get it. That's a great thing to do. However, make sure your language is elevating you and not taking you to the wrong way. And when I mean being grateful for the relationship you had, eventually you chose that person to spend time with him. For me, at least, move on from a hard breakup, or to heal from a broken heart or whatever, is when I fully grateful for that person or for what I had with that person. And it can be hard, because sometimes people want to hold on memories or whatever. But when you do it from a place of release, a place from, I want to be grateful for the energy I had and invested, and I want to make room for new energy to enter my life, it changed the entire mindset that you have around the breakup, the relationship, whatever. I promise you, it might sound a hard thing to do, and it sounds like it will not help you, but it's such a relief to do that kind of thing, and to wish for the other person the best that you can, and just be grateful for that type of person, to be grateful for the relationship, to be grateful about everything, and to wish them the best, and to wish yourself the best. And once you have this such elevated feelings and thoughts about this type of relationship and what you had there, instead of being in this whole breakup mentality, broken heart mentality, you can heal much, much, much faster, and understand what is more relevant for you, and what you took from this relationship, what you want for the next one. And I promise you can heal your heart much faster once you will be grateful for what you had. And now let's go to lesson number 4. So, as I said, I had a really difficult year. And one of the biggest lessons I had is that you are always above your circumstances. No matter how hard your life gets, eventually your physical stuff, your physical matter, it's nothing. Like, it's worthless. If you're gonna die today, tomorrow, whatever, it's worthless. Everything physical you have, physical pain, physical stuff you have in your life, physical scarcity, like whatever you have is worthless. Like it's nothing. Eventually, when I say you are above your circumstances, think about for a second, like who are you? You're not your physical body. You're not your name. You're not where you live. Like, okay, you see me maybe now. My name is Bari, but eventually, like, I'm above it. Like, my soul is something above it. I'm not the physical matter you're seeing right now. And this is such an important thing we need to remember, because no matter how hard it gets, once you're truly present and understand that you are above the circumstances, and of course you can change everything in your life, things becomes easier. And also, once there is so much fear around something you're going through in your life, and you understand that you are above your circumstances, it will be easier to change this fear into excitement, because you understand the power that you have as a human being, and you understand the spiritual power that we have when we created. So this is one of the, I would say, strongest one, because this year, I felt like I had nothing, but at the same time, I feel like I built my worth this year so much more when the times I felt like I had everything. And it made me so much stronger, because I realized how much I don't need anything because I am above it. I hope you got it, but it's a very strong one. Lesson number 5, when you connect it to yourself, always act upon your intuition as fast as possible. If you really connect it to yourself, you will notice that you will get clear messages about things you need to do. And if you have intuition about something, you need just go and do it. And every time I had intuition about something, I'm telling you, like I reflected the entire year I had a few times already. And I made some crazy stuff this year only because I had intuition to do it. And this year I was the most connected to myself I ever been in my entire life. I've been meditating for, I would say, more than 2 years, almost 3 years now. And this year I kind of took it to the extreme and devoted myself to meditations. So I saw a difference in the way things appear in my life. For example, this podcast started from a pure intuition that I had during meditation. I didn't dream about having a podcast, at least not in the upcoming years. I did dream about being invited to talk in podcasts, but not having my own podcast. Like, I didn't think about it. I was thinking to maybe do it, but it wasn't like a dream or something I was excited to do. And within a week that I had the intuition, I started producing the podcast. Now I'm working on an app that I built for the past 5 months. And the idea for the app started from idea my father had, and he suggested me the idea. And at the beginning, if I was thinking from my logical mind, it didn't make any sense to do this app, because I am still working on my sunglasses brand, but it didn't make any sense. But when I was quiet for a second, I just had a strong intuition, also during meditation, just to do it and take the leap. And after 2 days, I started doing the app, and this app opened me so many opportunities. First of all, one of my first viral posts on LinkedIn was thanks to this app that I built. I had so much opportunities to talk to different types of people in the high-tech ecosystem in Israel, thanks to me building this app. A few days ago, I was giving a lecture to almost 300 people thanks to building the app. And this was actually something on my vision board, and I never gave a lecture to 300 people, and 30 minutes lecture. It was 30 minutes lecture, which is insane for me. And people actually came after and thanked me and said it was such an incredible lecture and they took a lot from it. And just in the past few months, I changed a lot of things in my life, and I received just from listening to the small intuition of open a podcast, which, as I said, it's crazy how much support I got since I started this podcast, and also building the app, which is insane to me. And I know that 2026 is going to bring so much more stuff to it. I had more intuitions about people I met, investors that I met, like many different stuff, but it's such a long list. But I promise you, once you're very connected to yourself, and if you haven't tried meditation, please try. I'm telling you, it's the best thing in the world. The more connected I am to myself, the better the messages I get. And when I get such clear messages, I just know I need to act no matter what. Lesson number 6, never delay the hard conversations. It can be with your partner, it can be with your friends, it can be with your family, it can be with your business partners, with investors, with your bank, with your colleagues. It doesn't matter. If you need to make the hard conversations, do not ignore them. Just don't ignore them. The reason is because eventually you will have to make the hard conversations. So the longer you will wait, the harder it will be. It won't get easier. It just will not get easier. And not because mentally it will not be easier, but because when you delay hard conversations, more things piled up that add up to this hard conversation. So if you had only one thing, let's say you have something going on with a friend, okay? If you're not gonna talk about the hard thing, it's just gonna pile up with more stuff maybe in the past, in the upcoming 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 months, and you will get to a situation where everything will blow up. So no matter how hard it is, just make the hard conversation first. And I'm telling you, I had so many hard conversations this year. Looking back, I'm telling you, when I was thinking about how many hard conversations I had, I was in tears because I don't know how I went through all of it. But the faster you will have the hard conversation, the faster you can change your reality. That's it. And if you want to be a very successful person, you need to know how to handle hard conversations, no matter how hard they are and how difficult they are. Even if it's like the most difficult and uncomfortable situation you've been in your entire life, just do it as fast as possible. And the faster you will get comfortable with those types of situation, the easier it will be for you for the long run. So take it as a challenge, take it as a muscle, whatever. You have to work on it. And this leads me to the next lesson, which is on the other side of fear, there is exactly what you was looking for, what you needed, what you wanted. And this leads me to the other lesson, which is on the other side of fear, there is exactly what you need to do. And I know, like, it sounds so obvious, and it was so obvious for me too, but sometimes when you're in real life situations, when your entire body just freeze because you're so afraid from something will happen to your life or a conversation you're gonna have or whatever, I realized this year that the greater the fear, the faster I need to do it. And it's such a hard one because you don't want to face your fears. You just don't want to face your fears sometimes. And the bigger the fear, sometimes the harder it gets, the more pain you have when you face this fear. But you just need to remember that once you have a strong fear, you must lean in and do it. Do whatever you are afraid of, because this is the right thing to do. And I feel like this year I was working so hard with my fears and resistance I have towards certain things in my life. And during this entire year, I feel like I just learned how to work with my fears. And working with my fears led me to release my biggest blocks I had around so many things in my life that kept me stuck from not achieving the dreams that I always wanted. And this is also leads me to the next lesson, which is behind every dream that you didn't achieve, behind every dream that you haven't achieved yet, there's probably subconscious limited beliefs or blocks that holding you back from getting the results and dreams you want. And the best way to recognize them is through patterns, but it sometimes can be hard. But I learned that from looking at our fears is the best mirror we can find in order to release our darkest subconscious limited beliefs that hold us back. So me and my fears this year became best friends. I'm telling you, like, fears are such a powerful tool that I feel like people don't understand yet how powerful it is to become friends with your fear. But I'm not talking about the small fears, the deep fears that no one wants to face them, that you kind of put aside and don't want to look ever in the eyes of this fear. So working with the fears is the best gift you can give to yourself. in order to achieve your dreams. Lesson number 9. Sometimes your lessons hiding in situations that repeating in your life again and again. And it can be the most random situations that doesn't have to be bad stuff. I'll say that this year I had repeating situations over and over again since I would say like February until like August, maybe. Yeah, something like maybe September. I think most of my friends who were in relationship, almost all of them, had like really difficult stuff in their relationships. Sometimes the situation that's repeating in your life shows you the things that you need to learn. So I was not in a relationship this year, but all of my friends that were in a relationship, I felt like they were going through stuff. And at some point, I remember it felt ridiculous that my entire conversations with all of my friends, I'm not kidding, like almost all of them, were about their partners and what they're going through. And almost with all of them, it was kind of the same stuff. And it was around communication. And as I said before that, one of the biggest lessons I had during this year was communication. So listening to all of these problems of my friend, which I'm telling you, it was exhausted at some point, but realizing there is something repeating in my life that every day almost I hear about it, instead of being upset about it or frustrating that this is everything that I'm hearing, I was like, okay, there is something here. I need to just lean in and to understand what I can take from it. And I'm telling you, was one of the greatest year in terms of learning how to communicate. Right now, I feel like I'm in a situation where once I will enter a relationship, I feel like I will be at a place where I know how to communicate fully whatever I want, to communicate my needs, to communicate difficult stuff, to communicate like stuff that I would never, I'm telling you, a year ago would never see myself communicate. Like I was so, and I'm a very open person and very communicative, but when it came to relationships, romantic relationship, it was very hard for me to communicate like the difficult stuff. This year taught me how to do it through looking at my friends, how they did it, and through me looking at the situation, how they handle it, and just be like, okay, it's obviously just they need to communicate and they will solve the problem. And the last lesson is lesson number 10. Guard your energy like it's the most sacred thing in your entire life. And of course, it's also something we all know we need to keep, and to keep our energy and hold it like it's the most important stuff in your life. But I'll take it to a different direction. This year, as I said, I started a podcast, I started building an app, and for the first time in my life, I didn't say about it for anyone. I didn't tell my friends, I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell anyone about starting podcasts. Also regarding the app, like only maybe my father and a few friends, close friends knew about it, but I didn't post about it as I usually do about stuff that I'm doing. And regarding the podcast, so I didn't tell anyone, and in 3 weeks I was able to actually produce a podcast and publish it and launch it in 3 weeks, which is insane because I didn't know how to do this entire thing. And only because I was keeping my energy to myself regarding opening the podcast, I guard my energy because I didn't want anyone to come and put more energy. It doesn't matter if they have great energy, they're going to elevate me, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if there's something a little bit inside them that maybe want to protect me, want to criticize me, want to maybe jealous, I don't know, it doesn't matter. But even if they're very supportive of me, maybe they have something inside them that, I don't know, it touched them. Eventually, it will ruin my podcast. And this energy, even if they don't say anything, it will pour inside the work that I'm doing. And it also can be if they're not physical with me and maybe from far away, they thinking about it, thinking about me producing the podcast. It's still an energy that poured into the work I'm doing, and it can ruin the work that I'm doing. So this is definitely something I learned during this year and I'll take for the next year. And yes, that's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you're going to have the most incredible 2026 year, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be incredible for all of us. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.